This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 8.20 presentation of EntraPass. EntraPass 8.20 is a very nice version. It has some cool features for our customers that have been waiting for. And has some nice, one big feature for everybody else to play with, right? So let's start with that. Let's start off with a very interesting stuff. So we do have new firmware for our controllers. We do have the KT1s firmware. We have KT400 firmwares if we need them, and the IO Smart firmwares that come with it. These firmware are pretty much for maintenance mode. There's nothing um, required for them. If you want to upgrade, definitely can upgrade. Remember to upgrade your IP sites first, your IP controller, which is the master controller, and then you can go down to your secondary controllers over RS485. Always remember to upgrade one RS485 controller per loop. If you have 10 connections or 10 loops, you can do 10 controllers, just one per connection. All right? EntraPass 8.20 is available for all platforms, special, corporate, global, and Hatrix edition. So this flies for everybody here. The very first thing that comes out is the card search. It's a new feature that we've added in the EntraPass workstation, is the ability to search cards. Like, wait a minute, didn't you have that feature before? Yes, we did. We took now the card search window, but now we allow you to keep it open at all times. Now, if you're a card entry person or you do a lot of changes on your cards, you will like this feature. The people that have seen it, I actually find this the best thing ever. So what it is on the card window on the left, you can open up a little dialog box that stays open or closed, however you want. So remember this last position, but it actually lets you search for a particular person or name like Bob Smith, Peter Smith, John Smith, and they stay there. If I type contains Miss Smith, they will all show up. Then you click on the first person and you can edit him. But the search isn't clear. So if you made a mistake and got the wrong person in the search, guess what? You can just click on the next person down. So easily keeps the records open for you so you can click on the next person to move on with your searching. So it actually increases performance. Now it sounds silly, but in the past you had to open the search window, type a search, find out with the wrong person, research for the person again, and then get them again. Now having that window open is to me a huge time saver. And I was talking to one of our trainers in Canada yesterday that showed it to a customer that has a lot of card entry and they can't wait to upgrade because that's the number one feature they wanted. Now, if you have any questions, gentlemen and ladies, don't forget to ask them in the chat portion. We could definitely take comments or questions if you ever need to. Now, this feature stays with the card window. So as you move the card window around or close it or reopen it, the search window becomes part of it. It looks like two windows, but in reality, it's one big window for the cards. And we're very proud to announce that with EntraPass 8.20, we have launched EntraPass Web for Mac OS support. Yep, it's finally here. People, you've been waiting for it. We've now launched EntraPass Web for Mac OS. It's still available for Windows, obviously, but now also available for Mac computers. So people that had Mac computers instead of Windows, you can finally take and use your EntraPass Web natively on the Cantek system. That's pretty cool. Pretty exciting, I think. So how does it work? Well, there's a few requirements, very generic stuff. The first thing, it does require Mac OS High Sierra and higher, which is basically the last three OSs that Mac has launched. So High Sierra, Mojave, and the new one, which again I forgot the name, is available. All right. So how does it work? What's required? It is an EntraPass 8.20 release. It does come at the same time as EntraPass 8.20, but it's available and it is compatible with EntraPass 8.0. So if you have EntraPass Corporate or Global or Hatrix 8.2, 8.80 or 8.10, you can definitely take care of the macOS EntraPass Web. So it's not specific to that version, right? Not to 8.20. Now, if you have the old EntraPass Web, which was running on Silverlight, then you cannot use it on macOS. You have to at least be at 8.30, 8.0, right? So what's required for you guys to do? I already have EntraPass 8.10 or 8.0 or even 8.20. What do I have to do to accommodate macOS? Nothing. There's literally nothing for you to do. As long as you are able to run macOS on a Windows computer, you'll be able to run it on a Mac computer. Even though it's 8.0, you'll be able to do so. You're like, how do I do that? How does a previous version support a newer version of a product? That's because the EntraPass Web for macOS isn't downloaded through a browser like in Windows, right? We don't go to Windows and then IP address slash EntraPass Web to download this interface. You go to the Apple Store and you download the applet. And then the app, you can connect it to any server you want. So it's not downloaded or gotten from the Apple Store, from the web or the IIS of the customer, but rather the Apple Store itself. Before we get to those fun stuff, so what can or can't I do with macOS? Well, everything that the EntraPass Windows can do, you can also do for macOS, except for these few little things, right? So can I add cards? Yes, definitely. Can I add schedules and holidays? Of course. Can I unlock and lock doors? For sure. Maps, reports, all those things are available. What can't I do? There is currently no video available on the Mac OS. So if you want to do video integration with EntraPass and ExactVision on EntraPass Web, you will not be able to view the video on the EntraPass Web on the Mac OS. Now, there's no playback or live video or anything like that. The Power Series keypad, the virtual keypad that you guys like, is not available on the EntraPass Web. And this is true for the Maxis keypad also. Badge printing, even though you can view the badge and view the person's picture, you will not be able to print the badge onto a badge printer for now. This is not available yet on the Mac OS. Again, smaller things, but most customers here get to add cards. This is what people want to do. And they want to delete a card, run reports, transactions, and unlock doors, right? And the last thing we cannot do on the Mac OS is to be able to save a report in PDF. Now, before you say we can't run reports, this is not what I said. We cannot save a report in PDF locally. We can email the report through the Hatrix or Cantix software, and we could also view it on the screen. We could also save it as a CSV. We simply cannot save it as a PDF. So you can see on the screen, adjust it a bit. You could email it to yourself if you want, or you can then save it as a CSV. So back to the Apple Store. Once I've downloaded, what do I do? Don't forget, the EntraPass Web is a free download from the App Store. I have downloaded it from the Apple Store, and now it's on my computer, similar to your Angry Birds games or other products you download from the Apple Store. Same concept here. What you have to do is actually fill up the information very simply. You enter a server URL. It's a marketing name. You can call it whatever you want. You may want to call this my cloud system or my local system, whatever you want, right? And then the server URL, it's the same name as you put inside the EntraPass Go. So if you ever use our mobile app, it's asking for a server name. You put whatever you want, and then the server URL, you put the URL that you wish, which is the same address for your EntraPass Go. Now, if you don't use EntraPass Go, it's literally the same address that you would go and get from a Windows computer. So in Windows, you go to HTTPS or http://web.acme.com, for example, or it's 192.168 address as a browser. That's the information you put also up there. So whatever browser address you put inside the system. Are you excited for the EntraPass Web macOS launch? I will take a silence as you guys are going crazy. Or that you're all muted, I'm not sure. So don't forget, if you have any questions, gentlemen, please ask via the chat. We can definitely help you in the chat answer some questions. The next topic we have is the video gateway and how video works. As a tool, we did a huge change in the video. The people like it so far because it takes advantage of the new technologies that are available over the internet. First thing we did is back then in 7.6, we changed the name or the feature of the video vault to the video gateway. Similar to how we connect our controllers and our web, we have a multi-site gateway, we have a global gateway, right? We also have the EntraPass Web through the smart links. Now we have a connection for our video servers. So same concept as the gateway, but now it's for video. But we also added, that was in 760, which we added this. Now it still required a port to actually view video. So in 7 and 8.20, what we've done is we remove the need to have any kind of inbound ports. So there's no inbound ports required whatsoever on the exact server, right? So when you plug in your intrusion panel to call the central station, do you have to open up a port? No. When you hook up the Canta controller over IP, do you have to open up a port? No, there's no ports required. Same thing with Exact Vision now. With the Exact Vision, and when you set up a relay exact cloud or relay Exact Vision, this will create you a unique address that belongs to you directly. Similar to how you guys use GoToMeeting or how you guys use the TeamViewer, for example. You all click on the link, and this link opens up a unique session, but none of you have to open up ports to join my session. That's because there's a clearinghouse, we'll call it, called Exact Relay, for example, that allows you to export the connection, send it up to the cloud, and then the EntraPass Go goes and grabs that connection securely and using a username and password and the encryption to actually view the video. What's the benefit here? There's no ports required whatsoever. Notice the port arrows are going up. There's no ports required except for the smart link side. Locally, there's no ports anymore. I think it's a pretty cool feature, that part, because now we can do plug and play. So the way it works is the video port sends the outbound connection to the video gateway on a specific port. So on the server side, yes, we have to open up ports, but that's okay. So we tell our exact server, your outbound connection is video.demo.com, for example. And then your controllers is gw1.demo.com, let's say, and so on and so forth. Now, the benefit of that is that the connection programming is sent, the camera recordings, the playback is sent to the server, and then the video content itself is sent to the relay, which is grabbed by the EntraPass Web or EntraPass Workstation. Now, if you don't have an Exact Vision, you can still take advantage of the Exact Relay because the video gateway is mostly to offset huge amounts of data using the video gateway. But in this case, we do not need to open up any ports because the workstation will connect to it. So we need to open up one port, which is 22609, and then the workstation and the server will connect to it directly. But the video itself will not require any pass-through. This is a great typical example and benefit for our customers. The customer has an on-site controller that can call out a KT1, that can call out to the central station, let's say. Right? How does he do that? You open up a port or whatever he did. But anytime when you get up and open another port, 22609 and so on, you're like, nope, I will not. This is where the outbound connections come in. And that's mostly for cloud Hatrix based. Now, for a traditional system, the DVR may be on site. Usually is on site, but it doesn't want video port forwarding across the internet. So what we can do is we can connect directly to the exact server over the local port. So it is the connection that we've been doing for many years, but still create an outbound test connection for the EntraPass Web and EntraPass Go to connect without any ports. Did I lose anybody? Everybody's okay with this? So what's the point of all this? I can now do portless camera imports. So I could import a bunch of cameras with no ports assigned to them directly through EntraPass, and then I could see everything. So all the details come into Cantech, and all the events come into Cantech directly from these events or that port. So all your video goes to the video, all the video programming goes to the video gateway and down to the port. Now, in the exact server, you have to set up an outbound connection, which I showed you the steps here. As you guys see, it's a 3-step process. You tell it where you want the EntraPass connection to connect to. Now, that's only for outbound connections. That's not the video. If I want video, I can now set up a video relay. What's the benefit of that? Now I could stream video on the web and EntraPass Go without the customer needing to open up any firewalls. So you didn't open up any firewalls because the relay creates the outbound connection, and the exact relay server connects to EntraPass Go to make a peer-to-peer connection, let's say. Also, we've removed the video packages from the EntraPass Web. How many of you guys had to go install the exact vision files when there was a software upgrade? Because we are using the exact relay, we do not use the video package anymore. So if you install the software going forward, it's going to take a lot less time because it does not need to install the extra packages also. On the exact side, what are my requirements? I need Exact Vision Pro at a minimum, and the EntraPass Web tokens to be available and added. So if you have an older version, you want to upgrade, you're gonna have to upgrade, fine, but as long as you have a valid SSL to make it work. So I say a valid SSA to make it work. So I've given you the first 2 steps for the configuration, where you can enter the server information and make it a relay connection, as long as the power user. This will create, so once I fill these little few values in there by choosing the relay connection for my configuration, plus my video server here, I simply have to now see what happens on the Exact Vision, because on the Exact Vision side, a new port will be available. There'll be relay URL, blah, 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 it's here. This is the unique address across the world that belongs to this Exact Vision panel. So in the Exact Vision, we enter the absolute name, the full path, minus the HTTP names, all the way into the EntraPass system. We check 443 and encrypted, and we can now import the camera details. This will go and grab all the camera details from the Cantic system. Don't forget to check to put a username and password for it to actually work, obviously, right? Any questions on the video? Thoughts, concerns? All right.
So, real quick.
Yeah. Oh, he's muted.
On the previous one, on the slide before it, you have to click on the secure connection HTTP.
Yes, you must make it secure 443 because notice carefully the URL is HTTPS. So on the bottom, Exact Vision gives you an HTTPS connection. In EntraPass, you only type the after the // but you make it a 443 and you make it a secure connection. So it's the same
Okay, so this goes around from the So this goes around from the customer's firewall having to open up 22609.
Exactly. You don't need to open up anymore because it is an outbound connection. This exact relay URL connects to the exact cloud that they say, and then we connect to it and grab the video. So there's no port forwarding required anymore for this.
Okay, perfect. Because I had some issues on some sites, but it's because the Exact Vision web services, they crash, and then the video calls me like, hey, I can't see the cameras on the mobile side or the web.
So the EntraPass Go was using the web services, but it was an inbound connection. This is now an outbound connection. So it's just a different way of communicating with the exact server.
Okay, got it.
Also, with EntraPass 8.20, we have to do some cybersecurity changes, is because the integration access code for the DSC, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, can no longer be left by default. Right? This was a requirement that you cannot have default user codes in the software. So we changed that default user code in EntraPass, and that can be used after to communicate. Now, if you change it in the DSC world, we can change the document again, but you must go change the integration access code in the DSC, which will also change it here. You gotta change it here yourself, and now you can start using the integration yet again. All right, changing the user access code here to the integration access code here, and not changing in the DSC will not affect. Well, the integration would not work anymore. Okay. Now, if I want to add a new user, for example, or anything else, you can. You just cannot go to this particular menu in the software and look at the window. If you change the code, then you have to bypass or sorry. If you get into this window, you'll have to change the code to be able to press OK to save it. If not, if you go add more users, add partitions, rename them, whatever, that will not affect the access code because you have to get into this particular window to trigger it.
So if I were to update one of the sites to 8.2, already running an integration, is not going to affect it?
Great question. It will not affect it. And the reason why is because it only asks and verifies the form when the page loads, not when you press save. So if you don't go to this particular window, it will never ask you for it. And you only go in this window if you have any hardware programming physically on the alarm panel. So if you have any more questions, gentlemen, these are for Hatrix. So if you have any more questions, gentlemen, please feel free to ask them. You can always visit us at cantech.com, where you'll find the YouTube videos on EntraPass Web, and you'll find this kind of videos also. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them via the chat or question period. If not, I wish you guys a happy weekend and hope to hear from you guys soon.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any time in the future? I know the panels work